Hello everyone, Brandok here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about Dragon Quest Builders. Last week, I think it was last Friday, but anyway, last week we were given the announcement by Square Enix that Dragon Quest Builders was actually getting localized for Western shores. That's great news because sadly most Dragon Quest games don't get localized over here. See, we were lucky to get Dragon Quest Heroes last year because a lot of Dragon Quest titles just seem to fall off the radar over here. Whilst they've still got a die-hard and dedicated fan base over here, it's nothing to like Dragon Quest's fan base over in Japan, where it is still going very, very strong. However, with that out of the way, Dragon Quest Builders is actually coming out over here and is scheduled for an October release, which is fantastic news. Now, I'll get on to more of why I'm a little bit worried about Dragon Quest Builders releasing in October later on. But nonetheless, let's talk about Dragon Quest Builders. Dragon Quest Builders is basically combining Dragon Quest and Minecraft. But from looking at gameplay, it seems to be having a healthy blend of the two. And one, it looks a lot better than Minecraft graphically. Although, to be honest, that's not really hard. But the art style just seems to fit. Akira Toriyama's character design and the voxel art design that they've gone with just seems to fit and blend very, very well. It's rather cutesy and, adorable in a way, but it just seems to fit. The art style and the kind of gameplay that they got in Dragon Quest Builders just seems to fit really, really well. And that's great. I've been wanting to play this since it was released way back in Japan in January or February, I think. But, as with usual, Dragon Quest games don't usually get localized, and if they do get localized, we don't usually get them until about a year or two later. However, localization efforts have been stepping up a lot lately, so it's good to see that this one is coming out so soon after its initial Japanese release. Now, why am I hyped for Dragon Quest Builders? Well, I love Dragon Quest. The art style, the setting, the characters, it's just a wonderful game to play. If you've ever played a Dragon Quest game, you'll just know that when you sit down and play a Dragon Quest game, you just feel happy. It's a vibe you get from Dragon Quest. From the start, from the main tune that is synonymous. It is absolutely fantastic. It is incredibly well known. The main theme tune for Dragon Quest is absolutely fantastic, and there aren't many people who play the JRPG series out there that don't know it. When they announced Dragon Quest Builders last week, I was over the moon. I had a really good week last week, and then just Square Enix announcing that was the icing on the cake. It was a really good week last week. So I am really hyped for this. I want to see how it actually plays out over here, because Dragon Quest Heroes sold rather well over here, considering it was released in October last year, which was also holiday season where a lot of the big games come out. And that's where my worries come in. You see, Dragon Quest Heroes last year was released in October, but a lot of the Warriors games, because it was made by Omega Force and Koei Tecmo, who made the Dynasty Warriors series, a lot of the games released around about the September and the October month, but they've got a die-hard dedicated fan base of which the Dynasty Warriors fans will go ahead and buy it no matter what. Now, that's the same for Dragon Quest, but Dragon Quest Heroes was a lot more action-packed, and action games tend to sell a lot more these days. Dragon Quest Builders isn't all that action-packed, especially when you compare it to Dragon Quest Heroes, and given October this year is full of games already chock-a-block, I just don't want it to be left out there in the wilderness only for it to fall off the radar and nobody to even play it. And if they could bring the game forward, If they could just take the game back just so people can pay a bit more attention to it, then that'd be great. But I just don't want to see this game to get pushed to one side because of all the other games, because of all these other big AAA titles which are coming out in the month of October. In October, you have Gears of War 4, Mafia 3, and a slew of other titles, and that's without mentioning that on the last day of September, Final Fantasy 15 is coming out, which is arguably Square Enix's biggest title of some years now. I love Dragon Quest, I really do, and I just want to see this game succeed. I really, really want this game to succeed, because I like it when a developer decides to do something different with their IP. Now, I know I can understand that not every developer can do this, and not every IP is able to do this. Because let's face it, Grand Theft Auto builders, it wouldn't. But Dragon Quest, I would never have thought to put Dragon Quest and Minecraft together. But look at gameplay from various sources on YouTube. It just seems to work. It just seems to appeal. And not only that, this is a good way to actually get young gamers into Dragon Quest. They might be put off by the bombardment of information that you get when you start up a Dragon Quest game, because if any Dragon Quest fan knows, when you start up a Dragon Quest game, a lot of information is thrown at you right from the get-go. But this game, with its Minecraft-style gameplay, it's sure to introduce some young fans, and I'm pretty sure that parents would rather their kids to play this game than something like Gears of War. However, I'm not bashing Gears of War because I absolutely love Gears of War as well. Anyway, I want to know your thoughts on Dragon Quest Builders, and if you think it's going to sell well, and if you think Square Enix are actually being very, very brave by releasing it in October, when a lot of AAA games that are developed over here in the West seem to just all of a sudden just come out all at once. Anyway, that's enough for me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.